Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking with you about a problem a lot of hamster owners will run into, and that is fussy eaters. If you've owned more than one hamster in your lifetime, the chances are you've owned a fussy eater, and these are hamsters who like to pick at their food and just choose their favourite bits and leave all the good stuff behind, so they're not getting a balanced diet. It can be a very tricky situation to get around, so I'm going to share with you two methods that I have used in the past that have been quite successful in stopping fussy eating. Now, I cannot guarantee that these will absolutely work for everybody, but they should work for most people, and hopefully at least one of these methods will work for you. Before I go into what the methods are, I just want to put a little disclaimer here. If your hamster is only leaving the little brown pellets that you sometimes get in mixes, they can be brown or they can be grey, but they generally look the same, little dark coloured pellets, then your hamster is not a fussy eater, it's not even strange, so don't worry about it if your hamster is just leaving those brown pellets. Those pellets are what is known in the pet world as fillers, and they're basically put into the bag by the manufacturers to fill up the bag, to make it seem like you're getting more for your money, but in most cases the hamsters do not like those pellets. They tend to be made of things like alfalfa and flour and often bits of junk like hulls off of seeds and things like that, all just crammed together into a little pellet thing, and it tastes horrible for them and it doesn't have any nutritional value, or at least the nutritional value is incredibly small. So most hamsters do not eat them. Some do like them. Einstein actually eats his, but he is the first of all my hamsters to ever eat those pellets, which is amazing and incredible. Considering I've had over 20 hamsters, 1 out of 20 kind of shows you how normal it is. So if your issue is that your hamster is not eating the pellets, don't worry about it. What I suggest doing is actually removing those pellets before you give your hamster their food, and then seeing if they eat it all. And if they eat it all without the pellets in there, you're good to go, you're fine, no problems. I would always recommend removing those pellets unless you know that your hamster is going to eat them. Also, because the nutritional value of those pellets is so very low, and because most hamsters don't eat them anyway, removing them will not unbalance the diet and it will not affect your hamster, so don't worry if that concerns you. The first method is the one that I use the most, and that is the tough love method. Many hamsters will only be fussy if you allow them to be fussy, and taking the tough love approach can be difficult for many owners because all we want to do is spoil our pets as best we can. So it can be a little bit difficult to begin with, but it is in your pet's best interest. It will help them have a balanced diet and prevent them from picking out the things they like rather than eating all of the things that they need. You may remember from when you were younger, or if you are still quite young, this may be happening to you still, but when your parents make dinner for you, they'll bring you a nice plate of food and it'll have something really tasty on it, something like chips or something you really like, and then something you don't like quite as much but is a lot more healthy, like say salad, which is something I really don't like. So you eat up all of your chips because they taste so nice and so lovely, and you really want more, and you know that there are seconds in the oven, but your parents say to you, you cannot have any more chips until you have eaten your healthy greens, your salad. And until you've eaten all of the food on your plate, you cannot have any more food. And some of you may have experienced this as well. When I was younger, it certainly happened to me. If you didn't eat all your food that night, you had it for breakfast the next day. So this is the same kind of approach you need to take with your hamsters when they're being fussy eaters. They need to learn that they have to eat everything in their bowl before they will get any more food. This is especially important if you're one of those owners that refills their hamster's bowl every single day. If you're going to the bowl and there's still stuff left in it and you're just throwing it away and topping it up, or even if you're just topping it up on top of the food that's left, that's sending a really bad message to your hamster. The way your hamster is now seeing things is that he can pick out just the bits of food that he likes and leave the bits that he doesn't like quite so much, which is often the healthy stuff. Your hamster has probably got into the habit of knowing that it can just eat the things it likes, things like seeds and mealworms, because tomorrow you're just going to refill the bowl again, and that refilled food is going to have seeds and mealworms in it yet again, so your hamster can just pick those out and eat them, and just leave the rest because there'll be more of their favourite stuff back in there tomorrow. Going back to the chips and salad situation, that's just like you eating all of those chips and purposefully leaving that salad, because you know in half an hour, 40 minutes time, your parents are just going to put more chips on your plate. So if you are one of these people, you definitely need to apply the tough love tactic and do not refill your hamster's bowl until it is completely empty. Now your hamster is probably into some bad habits, so it may take a little while to catch on to what is actually happening, but don't worry yourself, your hamster will not let itself starve. When it gets hungry and it starts to realize that those seeds and mealworms and the things it likes aren't going to come back to that bowl, it's going to go and eat whatever is left over. It will not let itself starve. Instinct will override everything and it will make sure that it's eating something. And don't worry again if after a couple of days your hamster's bowl doesn't seem to be emptying. Don't forget, hamsters have hoards hidden all around their cage. The chances are your hamster is just slowly clearing out the hoards because they may have some nice tasty treats hidden in those as well. And they're probably just clearing those out first. So give it a few days and you should start to see the contents of the bowl going down. And after a couple of days the bowl should be completely empty. When it's completely empty, you can top it up again. This is something that's going to require patience and perseverance. You have to keep on with it, otherwise you're not going to break those bad fussy eating habits. You've got to leave the bowl to empty and then refill it. Also, don't overfeed your hamster. They only need 1 to 2 tablespoons of food whenever their bowl is empty. This ensures that the food they do have in their bowl is always fresh and they're not going to be overeating too much in one day. It is possible that your hamster will lose a little bit of weight over this time. Most hamsters will put that back on and it'll only be a few grams or so. But they may also lose weight because they're not eating all that junk food anymore. Those seeds and mealworms are really healthy when they're part of a balanced diet, but when they're just eating them on their own, they are going to cause obesity in your hamster. It can also lead to malnutrition and other health problems. This is why it's so important to stop fussy eating as soon as it starts. Do be cautious though. If your hamster has not finished the contents of its bowl within a week, or it loses a large amount of weight in a short amount of time, get them straight to the vet. There could be some underlying issues that you have not noticed before, and these could be the first symptoms. This is a very rare thing to happen when you're trying to combat fussy eating. Normally, a hamster's instincts will kick in and tell them they're hungry, they have to eat whatever food source is available, and it will not matter to them whether it's really nice food or whether it's just general healthy food. So that's my first method, and I have used that on about 6 different fussy eaters, and I found it works really, really well. But there is another method I've also used on slightly more difficult hamsters. This is better suited to hamsters who have just one thing they like to eat from the bowl. Usually it tends to be sunflower seeds, I've found more often than not. And what you do is before feeding your hamster, you remove all of those sunflower seeds or whatever it is they like to eat the most of, and you give them their food as it is. And then when they've finished what's in their bowl, then you give them the sunflower seeds. It's like when you have dinner at home, you have something nice for dinner, you'll have your salad or something healthy and lovely, your general well-balanced meal, and when you finish that, you can have something like a cupcake or a yogurt or something you really like to eat as a dessert or as a reward to yourself for eating a healthy, balanced diet. So the reason I say that's for more extreme fussy eaters is because the experience I've had with that one in the past was with a hamster who would only eat the sunflower seeds no matter how few you gave them. Even if there was just one sunflower seed in the mix, they'd just eat that one and leave the rest. So I had to completely take all of the sunflower seeds out and just feed them the normal food. And once that bowl was empty, and that could take a day or two, but once it was completely empty, I'd put in those sunflower seeds and the hamster would go mad over it. And they do learn very, very quickly that they have to finish what's in that bowl before they get something nice, or before the bowl gets refilled if you're using the first method. Hamsters are very intelligent, albeit they're not quite as intelligent as rats, but they're still very smart animals and they can learn basic things like this. Once they pick up on the new feeding pattern, after a couple of weeks, you should find feeding to be really easy and hopefully they will not be so fussy anymore. But do be careful if there are any problems, if there's any sudden weight loss, or if your hamster stops eating altogether, get them straight to the vet because fussy eating can be a symptom and not necessarily a personality trait. So those are 2 methods that I have personally used and I have found to work. So I hope by sharing them with you, I can help some of you guys out. I know it won't help everyone because some hamsters are just very difficult to deal with, but it will hopefully help the majority of people. And if you did find this video helpful, if you found it enjoyable, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. If you try either of these methods and they work for you, please let me know in the comment section. It would be great to get everyone's feedback for this video. And of course, feel free to share this with your friends if you know someone with a fussy hamster.